My Marines used to call me the ugly Irish bastard.
Yeah.
Not to my face, but times you had to be ugly, you know.
Yeah.
This is where it starts then, you said, right?
Well, it starts down here, kind of winds down the hallway here, and then we've got more up topside, and the main part of the museum's up topside. So
Oh, okay.
we'll walk down this passageway, and then we'll go up topside. So
All right. You just kind of guide them through it. And
this display, we received in 2009, we received the Magruder Award, which is from the foundation as a very prestigious award for our museum here. And the Navy people here pulled a fast one. We had a congressman here from Illinois, Lane Evans. They got funds to redo this building, the whole building. And the way they did it is name it after this Lane Evans. And it really was upsetting because typically that's reserved for real heroes and not political, people.
Right.
And the guy was a congressman for 11 terms, but he just did what he was supposed to do. And over here, the Democrats think he's God almost.
yeah.
So we named our side of the building Hinman Hall. And this is Charlie Hinman. This is the guy we named it after. Is the Harold Lund case. And what that was is Harold Lund was the first reservist from the 21st Engineers who was here on the Arsenal and activated for Korea. He was the first reservist to get killed in Korea. And his family donated his uniform and his burial flag. So that's what this case is about. That's my cousin there. Let's see, this is one of my uncles. There were 9 of us Marines in my family, 2 generations. My name is Rod Mooney. I spent a total of 41 years, 9 months with the Marines. I was the very first CW5 promoted in all the branches. I got promoted on 1 September 92, and everyone else was promoted on 1 October 92 for fiscal 93. Not bad for a kid from the wrong side of the tracks in Davenport, Iowa. And I was the very first time that a reserve officer was promoted ahead of the fleet. I was privileged to lead Marines. And I still bump into some of them once in a while, and they pay me a very high compliment. And that's it, we still follow you through hell. So that's important. And excuse me, I don't get emotional. This museum was made possible by the generosity of Marines and Friends of Marines and the community. It was an honor to put this together. They asked me to do this because they had so many Marines deployed to Iraq at the time. I said, sure, we'll do that. So that's how it all started here. But in 91, I had a bunch of personal stuff that sent up to the museum at Quantico. I had 4 boxes of those printing paper boxes that was full. And they went through it all, took out what they wanted, and sent the rest back. And the first sergeant we had here then said, oh, what are you going to do with that stuff? What do you want to do with these? Let's start a museum. They had a bunch of stuff donated. They asked me to put together a museum. I said, sure, we'll do that. So we expanded it. That's how it got here. That emblem down there,
An emblem?
it's 1890s.
Okay.
It's a pin-on emblem. Gentleman, he and his wife came here, and they said, my mother was a Marine, my father was a Marine. They met in San Diego, got married, and we had these uniforms and things that they had, and we'd like to donate them to you. And they even gave me their wedding picture. And I said, we'll take it. So we took it. I tried to give them the wedding picture back, and they wouldn't take it back. They said, no, we gave it to you. That's where that came from. I thought I knew a lot. I learned a lot doing this. The history books is just something else. Oh, I had a colonel get upset one day. I said something, they were talking about Bob Hope. Bob Hope made 5 trips to Vietnam. The VC used to watch him. where'd you hear that? I says, from the VC. It was in one of my books here. He says, that's not true. I was there, I should know, you know. Well, I had orders in '68 to go to Nam, but a half an hour before I was to report, they canceled them. And I went down to Coronado instead. I thought, no, I'm not gonna argue with you. And then my brother and I, we were up at Quantico here 2 years ago. He wanted to see the museum. And we went under these two old retired majors. And there's that guy with a history, you know. And he says, you know where they got the name for Quezon, the fire base? I said, no, I don't know where they got the name for Quezon Fire Base. He says, well, the Chief of Operations for the Marine Corps went into General Krulak. He was CG of FMF PAC. And he says, well, we got the fire base started. All we got's a number, we don't have a name for it yet. And Krulak told him, he says, well, let me think about it. Krulak was stationed in China in the 30s, and they couldn't pronounce his name, so they called him Quezon. So he called the Chief of Operations in and said, call it Quezon. That's what the Chinese used to call me. I said something in front of that colonel about that, and he says, where'd you hear that? Marine Corps Historical Society. Oh.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
I learned an awful lot doing this. It was really a privilege to do this and a privilege to lead Marines. Marine Corps League, I belonged to the Korean War veterans. I was with the Marine Association. I haven't been lately though. And then American Legion. And I was with the Marine Corps Reserve Officers Association. It's just been interesting. They all have a voice. Some of them are stronger than the other ones, but they all have a voice and their same interests to promote the services that they're connected to and keep the military strong. That's the important thing. You know, there's people that, because of politics, they want to spend the money that the military gets. You know, we're supposed to be able to fight 2 wars simultaneously, and that would never happen now. At one time I read where 1/3 of the fighter aircraft that we try to maintain were serviceable. Just 1/3. You know, our adversaries, and we have adversaries, they're just getting stronger and building stronger things and what have you. Main one's China. China's going to be something to be reckoned with. They've already claimed the South China Sea as their domain, but we have a ship that goes back and forth in the South China Sea all the time. Interesting point, I was told the Chinese lost 1,300,000 troops in Vietnam. When I first went in, I worked Special Operations Engineering and Intelligence for the Air Wing, and we did some things with the French, I'll just put it that way. Worked with an agency a lot. There were instances where we knew the Russians were involved in that. One time we had to go into North Korea, just south of where the Yalu dumps into the sea. They had a MiG go in and nobody messed with it. And after about the 4th or 5th day, they sent us in. A team of 5 of us, tech sergeant and 4 of us grunts. We went in, well, we weren't grunts, but we went in to see who was in that plane. And the guy was a crispy critter. We took his oxygen mask off, and he had steel crowns on his teeth. Took off his helmet, and he had sandy-colored, kind of curly, kinky hair. We brought out evidence that it wasn't an Oriental flying an airplane. I'll just put it that way. And then we were around the other side of Korea, and way up north, almost to the Manchurian border there, we had an island that the Marines maintained. They called it a surf and weather station. Well, good title. But they had 3 destroyers, picket ships, that would maintain the security of that island. They'd rotate in and out. The guys I went through boot camp with and what have you, they're all gone now. A lot of them got waxed at when they were doing Carson, Vegas, and Reno, those outposts. Our platoon in boot camp, there was only 7 of us that wasn't screwed up on those outposts. Yeah, I can tell you a couple names, but those guys are all gone now. Eastwood's movie, Heartbreak Ridge. In the lead in, it shows that Marine coming in black and white, and he's kind of dragging his one leg and smiling. His name's Crawford. I went through boot camp with him, and that was up on those outposts. Those guys were nose to nose, toe to toe, and hand to hand up on that. They went through some shit. Pilots I flew with, I flew as an observer sometimes. Got flight pay, which was nice, and they taught me how to fly. We used to do dive bombing runs and strafing runs. We developed a way to deliver to small tactical nuclear devices, and they still use that method today. Yeah. It's good that you guys are doing this, and I apologize for getting emotional.
No, you're fine. It's understandable. We appreciate you doing it and taking the time out of your day to talk to us.
I was on the logistics team, and we wrote an admin logistics plan, for the invasion of North Vietnam. And this is an overlay. City of Vinh would be up here.
What are your stands there?
I'm kind of jumpy, so I don't know if you picked up on that or not. Marine Corps Museum of Quantico, they don't have that condiment can. We do. And there's brand new leggings there from World War I. This is my older brother. This goes out by the Lund exhibit. They were going up Hill 749, and they carried a carbine. And they had a sniper up on the top with 50 caliber on it, a tank rifle. And anybody that was coming up that had a carbine, which meant NCO or officer, and he hit him right in the face. But that goes out on the wall by Lund stuff. 1940 guidebook.
Is that the oldest one that you've seen around, or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was told it would bring about $500. And then we've got the leatherneck, a leatherneck.
Oh,
I was just looking at that. I was like, is that a real one?
there it is.
But prior to 46, they used this belt. It wasn't a white web belt. And it was this vinyl with a steel buckle, and there were no pockets on the blouse for the enlisted men. In 46, they put pockets on the blouses. The Medal of Honor recipient is this guy right here. They were on Guam, or on
Guam.
Yeah, Guam, and the Japs were forming a banzai charge. And he told his buddies, you get out of here and I'll cover for you. He was a BAR man. So they left the ammo with him and went back. And he held off the Japs, and they went back and got reinforcements that came up, and he had run out of ammo. And they found 300 dead Japs laying out in front of them. He did a number on them, but they got him. And he's buried here on the arsenal. Yeah, and I was talking to a kid the other day, and he said, my grandfather was at the flag raising. He didn't take part in it, but he was there. And that's this kid's grandfather there. And I don't know what his name was, but I said, I realize it's a different entity over there. That's Department of Veterans Affairs. It is a separate entity, the arsenal. And anyway, well, I don't know. I said, well, all the veterans groups seem to pay their respects to these guys. Now, technically, they're the highest ranking people you got on the arsenal. And you people ignore them. Why is that? Oh, I'll look into it, you know. I really get in their knickers over that. This one sergeant major said, you're not going to get in my knickers. I said, hell, I'm not. I'm going to get it right in them. So
I'm going to get it right in them. One, two, three, cheese.
Cheese. All right.
Very good.